Have you ever been haunted by a ghost that still breathes? Not a specter in the attic, but a presence in your mind. A person whose absence is so loud it becomes its own entity. You're going about your day and suddenly a chill that has nothing to do with the temperature crawls up your spine. A song you haven't heard in a decade plays on the radio, the one you both called your song. You dismiss it, coincidence. Then you see a car, the exact rare model and color they used to drive. Coincidence. Then their name, an uncommon name, is spoken by a stranger behind you in a coffee shop. You tell yourself the world is full of random events, a chaotic soup of meaningless data. But what if you're wrong? What if you're not experiencing chaos but a language? The great psychologist Carl Jung proposed a universe that was not just a cold, clockwork machine, but a living, breathing organism, bound by a principle he called synchronicity, meaningful coincidence. He argued that our inner world, our psyche, is not entirely separate from the outer world of events. They are connected. They mirror each other. And when a human consciousness, a soul, focuses its energy with intense longing, with the profound weight of missing someone, it doesn't just stay inside their head. It ripples outwards. It disturbs the fabric of reality. It sends messages, not like a text or a phone call, but in the subtle, symbolic language of the universe itself. This isn't about wishful thinking. This is about depth psychology. It's about understanding that you are a receiver, constantly picking up signals from the collective unconscious, that vast, shared ocean of human experience that connects us all. The question is, have you been trained to listen? Today, we are not just going to talk about feelings. We are going to decode the transmission. We are going to unveil the 12 undeniable signs the universe sends you when someone misses you deeply, filtered through the revolutionary lens of Carl Jung. If you've been feeling that phantom presence, if the world has been whispering a certain name to you, prepare yourself. You are not going crazy. You are waking up. Sign number 1, the messenger in your dreams. Let's be brutally clear. This is not about having a simple, straightforward dream where the person shows up and says, "I miss you." The unconscious mind, the realm where these connections are made, does not speak in plain English. It speaks in symbols and archetypes, in poetry. Jung called dreams the royal road to the unconscious, and when someone's psychic energy is aimed at you, your dreamscape becomes the most receptive screen for their message. They might not appear as themselves at all. They might appear as an archetype. For a man missing a woman, she might enter his dream as the anima, a figure of profound feminine mystery, a guide, a muse, or even a siren. For a woman missing a man, he may appear as the animus, a figure of strength, a mysterious stranger, an intellectual challenger, or a wounded king. Consider the story of a woman named Clara, a graphic designer in a bustling city who had a painful falling out with her best friend, a man named Leo, a year prior. For months there was only silence. Then she began having a recurring dream. In the dream, she was lost in a dense, dark forest. Every time, just as despair set in, a great silent hawk would descend from the canopy, land on her shoulder, and its piercing gaze would show her the way out. The hawk felt ancient, protective, and profoundly familiar. She dismissed it as a stressed dream, but the feeling of its presence lingered for hours after waking. Months later, through a mutual friend, she learned that Leo had moved to the countryside, taken up falconry, and had spent the last year in quiet solitude, thinking of their friendship and his role in its demise. The hawk was not just a bird in her dream, it was Leo's focused energy, his longing for reconciliation, penetrating her unconscious and taking on the archetypal form of a guide and protector. He couldn't speak to her directly, so his soul sent a messenger. When you ignore these dreams, you are slamming the door on the most direct form of psychic communication you have. You are choosing to believe your soul has nothing to say. Your action is this: start a dream journal tonight. When you dream of someone or of a powerful symbol that feels connected to them, don't just write down what happened. Write down the feeling, the atmosphere, the colors, the emotions that clung to you when you woke up. This is not dream interpretation for party tricks. This is learning the language of your own soul and its connection to others. Sign number 2, sudden, unexplained emotional surges. You're at your desk, focused on a spreadsheet. Everything is neutral, calm. Then out of nowhere, a wave of melancholy washes over you so intense it almost brings you to tears. There is no trigger, no sad thought, no memory. It's a foreign feeling, an emotional weather system that has moved into your psyche from an unknown origin. Or conversely, you're feeling down, and a sudden, inexplicable surge of warmth and affection fills your chest, like a silent, invisible hug. Jungian psychology, and indeed quantum physics, suggests that consciousness is not strictly confined to the skull. It has a field and energy. When someone is missing you with an all-consuming force, they are broadcasting their emotional state. Their longing, their sadness, their love, it's pure energy. And if you have a deep connection, a previously established psychic rapport, you are uniquely tuned to their frequency. You are picking up their broadcast. Think of it like two tuning forks. If you strike one, the other, even across a room, will begin to vibrate at the same frequency if they are perfectly matched. This is what's happening on an emotional level. You are vibrating with an emotion that is not your own. A young man, a musician named Sam, kept experiencing this after his grandmother passed away. He'd be in the middle of composing, feeling creative and energized, and would suddenly be hit by a profound sense of peace and pride, a feeling he viscerally associated with his grandmother watching him play piano as a child. It wasn't his peace. It wasn't his pride. It was hers reaching across the veil. The same is true for the living. The ex-partner who is wrestling with regret, the friend who moved across the world and feels a pang of loneliness. Their intense emotional states can momentarily become yours. The mistake is to immediately pathologize these feelings. To think, what's wrong with me? Why am I so unstable? The truth is, it may not be about you at all. You are simply a sensitive instrument registering a distant storm. Your action is to practice emotional discernment. When a powerful, rogue emotion hits you, stop, don't react, don't identify with it. Simply ask, is this mine? Breathe, feel its texture. You will begin to notice a subtle difference between your own organic emotions and the ones that feel imported. By doing this, you aren't just managing your mood, you are acknowledging a deep, living connection. Sign number 3, synchronistic encounters with their symbols. This is the cornerstone of Jung's theory and the sign most people dismiss as pure coincidence to their own spiritual detriment. Synchronicity is not just a happy accident. It is an acausal connecting principle. It's when an inner state, a thought or feeling, is meaningfully mirrored by an outer event with no apparent causal link. When someone misses you, your inner state is subtly primed with their essence. You are thinking of them even on a subconscious level. The universe then conspires to reflect that inner state back to you. This isn't the universe sending a sign like a cosmic postman. It's that the fabric of reality itself is woven from both mind and matter, and your focused consciousness, combined with theirs, temporarily highlights certain patterns. You broke up with someone who was obsessed with sunflowers. For years, you barely noticed them. Now, as they are 1,000 miles away, thinking of you, you suddenly see sunflowers everywhere. on a dress in a shop window, in a painting at a cafe, on a billboard. You hear their uncommon last name, Fletcher, mentioned in a documentary. The next day you walk past a Fletcher & Sons law firm you've never noticed before. The number 22 was significant to you both. You glance at the clock at 10:22. Your receipt at the grocery store is $22.22. The weak mind calls this confirmation bias. The awakened mind understands that bias doesn't create the events themselves, it only attunes you to them. The events are still happening with uncanny frequency. A woman I knew, grieving a lost love who was a passionate astronomer, was walking in the city heartbroken. She looked down, and at her feet was a small, discarded pendant of the constellation Orion, his favorite. The sheer improbability is the message. The universe is saying, the connection you feel is real. It is being mirrored in the world around you. Pay attention. Ignoring this is to live in a flat, one-dimensional world. It's to voluntarily blind yourself to the magic woven into the mundane. The action is to become a collector of synchronicities. When these meaningful coincidences happen, write them down. Don't explain them away. Don't try to find a logical cause. Just honor them. Record the event and the feeling it invoked. This simple act of observation validates the connection and strengthens your ability to perceive more of them. You are training your mind to see the world not as a collection of random objects, but as a tapestry of symbols. Sign number 4, hearing their voice in your head. This is a subtle yet powerful sign. It's not an auditory hallucination. It is the distinct experience of a thought appearing in your mind, fully formed in the exact phrasing, tone, and cadence of the person who is missing you. You're struggling with a decision and a piece of advice pops into your head, a phrase they always used to say, like, just rip the band-aid off. It feels so authentic, so them, that it startles you. Jung would explain this through the concept of the complex. A complex is a cluster of memories, emotions, and thoughts associated with a particular person or archetype. When you have a deep bond with someone, you internalize them, creating a vivid imago or internal image of them within your own psyche. This imago is not just a flat memory, it's a dynamic, living part of you. When that person is focusing their energy on you, it's like they are remotely activating their imago within your mind. Their longing energizes this complex, and it speaks to you from within. It's their consciousness, filtered through your psychological representation of them. Imagine a son whose father passed away. The son is about to make a risky business decision, something his cautious father would have advised against. As he's about to sign the papers, he hears, clear as day in his own mind, his father's voice saying, "Don't be a damn fool, boy." It's so real it stops him in his tracks. That wasn't just his own conscience. It was the activated paternal archetype, the imago of his father, energized by a transpersonal force offering guidance. The same happens with the living. Your friend across the country is worried about you, and you suddenly hear their voice of concern in your head, cutting through your own mental chatter. Dismissing this as just your own thoughts is a failure to understand how intertwined we truly are. You are an ecosystem of consciousness, and some of the most important voices in it belong to those you have loved deeply. Your action here is one of recognition. When a thought appears that has the unmistakable flavor of someone else, pause, acknowledge it. That sounded just like them. You can even respond to it in your mind. Thanks, I needed to hear that. By doing this, you are engaging in a dialogue with the deeper parts of your own psyche and honoring the invisible threads that connect you to others. You are treating your mind not as a solitary prison, but as a meeting place. Sign number 5, the phantom touch or scent. You are sitting alone, reading a book, and for a fleeting second, you feel the distinct sensation of a hand on your shoulder. Or you walk into a room and are hit with the unmistakable scent of their perfume or cologne, even though you know for a fact there is no physical source for it. These are not signs of a failing mind. They are signs of a finely tuned sensory memory being activated by psychic energy. Our senses, particularly touch and smell, are deeply linked to the most primal parts of our brain and our emotional memory. The scent of a person is a unique chemical signature we store deep within our limbic system. The memory of their touch is encoded not just in our minds, but in our bodies, our somatic memory. When the person who misses you does so with great intensity, their longing is a form of energy. That energy can, in moments of stillness when your own mental static is low, trigger these deep, dormant sensory memories. It's not that their ghost is in the room. It's that their focused consciousness is pinging your brain's memory bank and causing it to fire a signal. Scent X or sensation Y. The result is a phantom experience that feels completely real, because for your brain, the reactivated memory is indistinguishable from the original event. A widow might be in her garden, years after her husband's passing, and suddenly smell the scent of the pipe tobacco he used to smoke. It brings a wave of both comfort and grief. She is not imagining it. His memory, perhaps nudged by a feeling of being watched over, has been somatically re-experienced. Similarly, a young woman might feel the ghost of her ex-boyfriend's hand on the small of her back as she walks through a crowd, a gesture he always made to guide her. It happens because at that moment he could be hundreds of miles away, seeing something that reminds him of her and wishing he could be there. The tragic mistake is to fear these moments, to think you are being haunted or losing your grip. The truth is, you are being contacted in the only way possible, through the deeply embedded library of your own senses. Your action is to welcome these sensations without fear. When you feel a phantom touch or scent, don't recoil. Close your eyes, breathe it in, say thank you in your mind, acknowledge the connection. You are turning a potentially spooky experience into a moment of profound, non-local intimacy. You are affirming that the body remembers and the soul communicates. Sign number 6, music as a sacred medium. You get in your car feeling a strange sense of longing for someone, and the instant you turn on the radio, your song begins to play. Not just any song, but the specific obscure indie track you both obsessed over. You dismiss it. Later that week, you walk into a store and a different song, When You Cried to Together During a Difficult Time, is playing softly over the speakers. Then a third song, the one that was playing during your first kiss, shuffles on your own playlist, even though you haven't heard it in years. This is not the universe having a favorite DJ. From a Jungian perspective, music isn't just entertainment, it's a carrier of archetypal patterns and emotional information. Certain melodies, harmonies, and lyrics can tap directly into the collective unconscious, resonating with universal themes of love, loss, and longing. When you and another person imbue a particular song with shared meaning, you are essentially creating a psychic totem. You are encoding your connection into that piece of music. When that person misses you, their energy amplifies the signal of that totem in the collective field. Your own psyche, already tuned to that person, becomes a magnet for that specific musical frequency. You are not just randomly encountering the song. Your consciousness, intertwined with theirs, is drawing it into your reality. It is a perfect synchronicity, an outer event, the song playing, mirroring an inner state, your shared, unspoken longing. A man once told me that after a devastating breakup, he fled to a remote cabin with no internet or phone service. He had an old iPod with thousands of songs. Feeling at his absolute lowest, he put it on shuffle, and the first song that played was his ex-girlfriend's favorite song, one he didn't even remember having on there. He felt in that moment that she was feeling the exact same pain he was. He was right. He found out later she had spent that entire day looking through old photos of them, weeping. Their mutual grief created a psychic condition where the universe had no choice but to play their soundtrack. Now, to dismiss this as chance is to deny the power of art to transcend physical space. It's to believe that the most emotionally charged artifacts of your life are meaningless noise. Your action the next time the song plays at a strangely perfect moment, don't just smile and say, "What a coincidence." Stop, listen to it, really listen. Allow the emotion of the connection to surface. See it as a deliberate message. A letter written in melody, delivered by the universe on behalf of someone who doesn't have the words to send it themselves. Sign number 7, the appearance of animal messengers. You go for a walk in the park, your mind heavy with thoughts of a loved one who has passed on or a friend who is far away. You look up and see a single hawk circling directly overhead. This person loved hawks. Or you're sitting on your porch and a brilliant blue butterfly, a species you've never seen in your area, lands on your hand and stays for a long moment. This was your mother's favorite creature. Animals have served as symbols and messengers in the human psyche since the dawn of time. In Jungian terms, they are often potent carriers of archetypal energy. The hawk can represent vision, perspective, and spiritual awareness. The butterfly represents transformation, rebirth, and the soul. The owl represents wisdom and the ability to see in the dark. When a person misses you, especially with a deep spiritual longing, their energy can connect with these archetypal forces in the natural world. It's not that the soul of the person has inhabited the animal. Rather, the intense emotional field of their longing creates a meaningful event in your vicinity. The universe, in its mysterious way, arranges for a symbol to cross your path at the exact moment your receptivity is highest. The appearance of the animal is a physical manifestation of the psychic connection, a symbol made flesh and blood. Consider the ancient cultures that saw omens in the flight of birds. They weren't being superstitious. They were practicing a form of deep ecological awareness, understanding that the movements of the outer world could reflect the state of the inner world. A woman whose brother, a sailor, was lost at sea, was tormented by not knowing his fate. One day, sitting by the shore, a single white feather drifted down from a clear blue sky and landed in her lap. In that instant, she felt a profound sense of peace. The feather, a universal symbol of angels, flight, and letting go, was the synchronistic event that delivered the message her soul needed. He was at peace. Ignoring these encounters is to sever your connection with the symbolic language of the natural world. It's to see a hawk as just a bird and a butterfly as just an insect, stripping them of the sacred meaning they have held for millennia. Your action is to learn the symbolic meaning of the animals that cross your path in these strange, significant ways. When an animal appears in a context that feels uncanny and connected to a person, don't just take a picture. Go home and research the historical and archetypal meaning of that creature. What does the hawk symbolize? The fox, the deer? You are not just learning about animals. You are learning to read the living symbols the universe uses to communicate with you. Sign number 8, an illogical, overwhelming urge to go somewhere. You're at home on a Tuesday night with no plans. Suddenly, you are seized by an almost violent urge to go to a specific place. That old bookstore you haven't visited in years, a particular bend in the river, or a quiet park on the other side of town. The urge is not logical, it makes no sense, but it's persistent and gnawing. This is a form of psychic geography. Places, especially those charged with powerful shared emotions, retain an energetic imprint. Jung might refer to this as the genius loci, the spirit of a place. It's not a ghost, but a concentration of psychic energy, of memories and feelings that has been absorbed by the location. When a person who shared that space with you is missing you, they are psychically visiting that place in their own mind. They are reliving the memories, pouring their emotional energy into that location from afar. This remote activation can create a psychic pull, a beacon that your own unconscious mind picks up on. The illogical urge you feel is your soul responding to their soul's call, which is echoing from that specific charged location. You are being drawn to the place where their energy is most concentrated. A man I knew had a favorite bench in a botanical garden where he and his girlfriend had their most profound conversations. After they broke up and she moved away, he avoided the garden for over a year. One day, the urge to go to that bench was so overwhelming he left work early to obey it. He sat there, feeling a mix of sadness and nostalgia. Later that week, he received an email from her. She wrote that on that very same afternoon she had been overcome with memories of their time there and had spent hours looking at a photo of them on that exact bench, wishing she could turn back time. His urge was a response to her intense, focused reminiscence. To fight this urge is to deny your own intuitive GPS. It's to insist on living by logic alone, even when your soul is providing you with a map. Your action is, when it is safe and possible, to obey these strange impulses. When the universe tells you to go, you go. You don't need a reason. The journey itself is the point. Go to that place, sit there, be silent, pay attention to the feelings and memories that surface. You may not meet the person there, but you will be meeting their energy. You are showing up for a psychic appointment, and in doing so, you are honoring the reality of your connection. Sign number 9, glitches in the machine. You are thinking intensely about someone you miss, and your phone suddenly flickers and dies, even though it was fully charged. Or you are scrolling through social media, and an old photo of you and them from years ago randomly appears at the top of your feed, a glitch in the algorithm. Their name pops up in a suggested search for no reason. A song on your computer begins to play on its own, their song. In a modern world, synchronicity has adapted. It no longer speaks to us only through nature, but also through the technology that has become an extension of our own nervous systems. Jung believed the psyche could influence the physical world. While he spoke of clocks stopping at the moment of death, today he might speak of emails failing to send or strange digital artifacts appearing. The theory is that intense human emotion, longing, grief, love, is a powerful form of psychic energy. This energy can, in subtle ways, interact with and influence other sensitive energy systems, including delicate electronics. It's not magic, it's a form of influence we don't yet have the instruments to measure. The glitch in the machine is the modern equivalent of a raven tapping at the window. It is the acausal principle of synchronicity manifesting through the conduits of our age. A young woman was agonizing over whether to contact an old flame. As she stared at his number in her phone, her thumb hovering over the call button, the screen went black. When it rebooted, his contact photo, one she hadn't seen in years, was inexplicably set as her wallpaper. She took it as the sign she needed, a push from the universe, or from his own unconscious wish to be contacted, that momentarily scrambled the code in her device. The common reaction is to curse the technology. Stupid phone, this algorithm is so weird. This is a refusal to see the symbolic meaning, to recognize that the ghost is now in the machine. Your action is to treat these technological anomalies not as malfunctions, but as messages. When a digital glitch occurs that is strangely and specifically tied to the person you miss, document it, take a screenshot, write it down. See it for what it is, a wink from the universe through the screen. It's a reminder that no matter how advanced we become, we are still governed by the ancient, mysterious laws of connection. Sign number 10, the sudden reappearance of a lost totem. You're cleaning out a drawer you've gone through a dozen times before, and you find it. The small silver locket they gave you, which you were certain you'd lost during a move 3 years ago. Or you reach into an old coat pocket and your fingers close around the smooth, flat stone you both picked up on the beach that one perfect afternoon. Objects, especially those given in love or charged with intense shared experience, are not just inert matter. From a psychological perspective, they are transitional objects, repositories of memory and emotion. They are physical anchors for a psychic state. When one of these totems goes missing, it often coincides with a period of emotional distance or the loss of the connection itself. Its sudden reappearance is a powerful synchronicity. It signifies a shift. The person who is missing you is focusing their energy on the memory of your connection. This psychic broadcast can, in Jung's interconnected universe, align events in the physical world to reveal what was hidden. It's as if their longing has loosened the object from its hiding place, allowing it to be found. The discovery of the object is the external event that perfectly mirrors the internal reemergence of their presence in your thoughts and feelings. A man whose wife had left him was clearing out his garage, a task filled with painful memories. Behind a dusty shelf, he found a small, hand-carved wooden bird she had bought for him on their honeymoon. He hadn't seen it in years and assumed it was gone forever. Holding it, he felt an overwhelming sense of her presence. 2 days later, she called him for the first time in months, wanting to talk. The reappearance of the bird was the overture to the reconciliation. It was the universe's way of saying, that which was lost is about to be found. To find such an object and think, oh, there it is, and toss it in a box is a spiritual crime. It's like finding a treasure map and using it for scrap paper. Your action is to treat the reappearance of a lost totem with reverence. When you find it, stop everything. Hold the object, close your eyes, allow the memories and feelings associated with it to flood back. Recognize that its discovery is not random. It is a sign that the energy of that connection is active and alive right now. The object is not just a thing, it's a message that has just been delivered. Sign number 11, the somatic shiver, goosebumps with no cause. You are in a meeting or talking with friends and someone mentions a city where your long-lost friend lives. Instantly, a wave of goosebumps, a frisson, washes over your arms and the back of your neck. The room is not cold. You are not scared. It is a physical bodily reaction to a piece of information that is psychically charged. The body keeps the score. Jung understood, as do modern trauma experts, that the psyche is not just in the brain, it is embodied. Our physical form is a resonant chamber for emotional and psychic energy. Goosebumps or piloerection is a primal involuntary reaction. We get it from cold, from fear, but also from profound aesthetic experiences, like hearing a powerful piece of music or witnessing an act of great courage. It is the body's way of saying, pay attention. This is significant. When you experience this somatic shiver in direct response to a thought of someone, or the mention of their name or something related to them, it is your body viscerally reacting to a spike in psychic energy. Their intense thought of you at that moment, or your own sudden deep thought of them, creates an energetic surge that your nervous system registers and expresses physically. It is an undeniable, non-negotiable confirmation from your own flesh that a connection has been touched. Think of it as your body's built-in truth detector. Your conscious mind can explain things away, but the body does not lie. The shiver is a physical acknowledgement of a non-physical event. A woman described how every time she thought about forgiving her estranged father, she would get a powerful wave of goosebumps. It wasn't a thought, it was a full-body validation that this was the right path, a path her father, in his own lonely state, was likely hoping for. Dismissing this as a random chill is to ignore the wisdom of your own body. It's to treat your physical vessel as a dumb vehicle, rather than the sensitive, intelligent instrument it is. Your action is to start honoring your goosebumps. When you get that shiver in connection with a person, recognize it for what it is, a somatic yes, a physical exclamation point. It's your body confirming an energetic truth that your mind might be trying to deny. It's a sign to stop, breathe, and acknowledge the deep undercurrents of connection that are flowing just beneath the surface of your awareness. Sign number 12, the deep, undeniable knowing in the silence. This is the final and most powerful sign because it requires no external proof. It is the quiet, calm, unshakable certainty that settles in your gut, in your core, that the person is thinking of you. There is no dream, no song, no synchronicity. There is only a profound internal sense of their presence, a feeling of being held in their mind. Jung would call this direct access to the self, the unifying center of the psyche that is connected to the whole of the collective unconscious. Intuition in the Jungian sense is not a guess. It is a primary psychological function, a form of perception that apprehends reality directly without the need for logic or sensory data. This knowing is your intuition operating at its highest level. It's the feeling you get when you're about to receive a call or text from them and then it happens. But it's even deeper than that. It's a state of being, not a fleeting thought. You can be walking down the street and a profound peace settles over you and you just know with every cell in your being that you are loved and missed by this person at this very moment. There is no anxiety, no neediness, just a simple, solid truth. This happened to a soldier stationed overseas. He described a moment during a quiet night on guard duty where he was suddenly filled with an overwhelming sense of his wife's love. It wasn't a memory, it was a live feed. He felt her presence so strongly it was as if she were standing next to him. He checked his watch and noted the time. When he was finally able to speak to her a week later, he asked what she was doing at that exact time. She broke down in tears, explaining that she had been unable to sleep and had gotten out their wedding album, sat with it for an hour, and just sent all of her love and prayers for his safety to him across the miles. His knowing was her focused intention, received directly, soul to soul. The gravest error is to distrust this knowing. To demand external proof for your deepest intuitive truths is to wage war against your own soul. It is to believe that the only things that are real are the things you can see and touch. Your action is to cultivate and trust this inner state. Meditate, spend time in silence. Learn to distinguish the noisy chatter of your ego from the quiet, clear voice of your intuition. When this deep knowing arises, don't question it. Don't look for confirmation. Simply receive it as the most sacred gift it is. Rest in it. It is the ultimate sign that you are not and have never been alone. So these are not 12 separate quirky phenomena. They are 12 facets of a single brilliant truth. You are part of an interconnected conscious universe. The love, the grief, and the longing you feel for others are not just trapped inside you. They are active forces in the world. And the energy of those who miss you is constantly seeking a way to reach you, to remind you that the bonds of the soul are not broken by distance, by time, or even by death. Stop calling it coincidence. Stop dismissing your intuition. Stop demanding that the universe speak to you in a language you already understand. It is your job to learn its language, the language of symbols, of synchronicity, of silence. The great work of your life is not to forge new connections, but to awaken to the vast, intricate, and powerful network of connections that already exists, that has always existed. You are a node in a web of souls. These signs are not just about knowing if one person misses you. They are your wake-up call to the nature of reality itself. Now go out into your life not as a solitary actor in a random world, but as a conscious participant in a grand, meaningful dialogue. Pay attention. The universe is talking to you. It's time you started listening.